G'day everyone, I'm a Smoke Machine here. Today we are going to be looking at how to set up your own server within Automobilista 2 using Amazon's web services. Now this is all completely free and it gives you a lot of flexibility. I was looking to have basically a server running 24/7 with Nordschleifer just in a practice mode, and so I started doing some research in how to do that, and I put this together basically. So we'll go through step by step with what we've got to do. We're firstly going to set up an account with AWS, really straightforward. Within there, we're going to then create a virtual machine, a Windows virtual machine. I'll show you how to do that. Again, very simple to do. And then from there, we will be able to log into our web server, and then we'll be able to install the software that Automobilista 2 actually provides for setting up a server. So we'll look at setting that up, and then I'll show you how it's all configured. This video will just be a very basic, very basic server. I want to then devote a second video to doing a more complex server, but this will get you up and running. If you want to have a one-off league race or something like that, this gives you the chance to do that. So without further ado, we might as well jump into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to have to do is you're going to have to sign up for AWS. So I'll put a link in the description here, but if you do a quick Google, I'm sure you'll find it. I'm sure some of you have heard of it. That's all pretty straightforward. You should see like a sign up thing up here. You will need either a credit or a debit card to sign up, but I think they just do a little pre-auth of maybe $1, which then they return to you straight away, and then that's it. That's all you should pay. Probably straight off the bat, I should say, you're probably going to want to make this server private, just in case a whole bunch of people start using it. I'm still yet to sort of see what sort of data it uses, but be warned, if too many people are using it, then you could find yourself in trouble. But go ahead and sign up. I'm just going to sign into my account. Once you're all signed up, I'm not sure if you'll be presented with exactly this screen, but you can probably type EC2 up here, I imagine. Yes, you can, if you can't find it, but basically we're looking for EC2 here. So we're going to load that up. Now, what you want to do is you want to click on instances here. So it's taken me straight there. It may take you into the dashboard first, but all you need to do is just click on instances on the left here. There's one I had previously I've terminated. So what we're going to do is go launch instances. So this is where we're going to set up our Windows virtual machine. So you want to scroll down until you see Windows, Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base. You'll see there it's free tier eligible. So we're going to go select. So what we don't want to change this. So just make sure it's on this T2 micro. Again, you want free tier eligible. This is what you're looking for. And now, I mean, you don't have to use AWS. I think you could use Azure, or however you pronounce the Microsoft version, or any other web hosting, but this is just what I'm going to use for today. So we want to just click next. We don't really want to change anything here. So we click next to add storage. And so you want to make sure you've got 30 gigs there. That's way more than we need, but that's what they'll give us for free, so you might as well take it. I think Windows is probably going to take, I don't know, 12 gigs of that or something. So click next. We don't want to change that. So this bit is kind of important. So this is where we want to set up basically so we can do remote desktop. Now I just need to remember the IP I need for that. Sorry, so we want to go, yeah, we've already got it on RDP. It's on 389. Yeah, so 3389, that's fine, the port range. We want to change, so the only thing we want to change here, the only thing we're going to change here is to my IP. Just like that. And then you might want to just put here remote desktop port, something like that. That'll do. Doesn't really matter. Otherwise, we're done. So you can just then hit review and launch. That's just we're just reviewing, everything's fine there. As long as you've done what I've said, then everything should be sweet. So we just hit launch. Now this bit is actually important. Now, what you want to do is basically, I've already got a key, but you won't if you haven't already got an account. So what you want to do is go create a new key pair. You can call this whatever, just call it. I call mine like AMS2 key. And you want to download. This is very important. Do not skip this, otherwise you will not be logging into your server and you'll have to start again. So you then want to just download the key pair and then just save that somewhere where you know where it is. So we'll just put it in downloads for now, but I'll move that eventually. So there we go. So make sure you've got that and you know where it is, because that's very important. So now we can go launch instances or instance. Now this bit will actually take a little while. You can go view instances. Ignore the top one here. You can see it's terminated. So this one's pending currently. What we're waiting for is for status check. There should be a 2 out of 2 appearing there. So you can hit the refresh. Like I said, it will take a little bit of time. So just be patient. You can see it's pending there. So setting up a web server isn't exactly rapid. So the instance state's all right. So it's still at initializing. So just wait. Probably give it, I don't know, it doesn't take too long, maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes at most. So just give it some time. And then once we've done that, we'll be able to remote log into it. Okay, so now as you can see, we just reloaded and we've got 2 out of 2 checks passed. So that means our instance is now running. So that means now we can remote desktop in. Now what we want to do is Microsoft, or Windows rather I should say, or already has remote desktop built in. You can actually see it right there. But if you can't see it, just type, if you just type RD, usually it'll come up into your search bar. You just want to click on that. Now what we also want to do is, so we want to click the, check that box there. Actually, before we do that, let's copy. We want to copy this underneath public IPv4. You want to copy that full address there. Go into here and just paste that into there. And then what we're going to do is now hit connect here. It sounds a bit convoluted, I know, but this is, now you remember I told you to keep that file before. This is why you need that. So this is how you get your password basically. So click on RDP client and then click on get password, and it's going to want that file that we just had. So let's go to where that was. So I don't want that one, I want this one. So we just click on that, click open, and then hit decrypt password. And so this password here, this is the one you want. So you can just click that one there, that'll copy it, go back to remote desktop, click connect. It'll connect, and you want to change that to a different account. You don't want to use your normal one, so you want to be administrator, and then just paste that password in, and then hit OK, and then that should log in. You just want to go yes. I'm going to click that box there as well, so go yes. And so this bit can take a little bit too, because this is going to be the first time we're logging into Windows. So as you can see, it's opening it up. So we're now in a server. If you haven't done this before, congratulations. You're now a server administrator. I hereby allow you to have that status. So we just have to wait for this. Again, can just take a little bit. Can run a little slow, obviously, given that it's running over the internet. When we're trying to communicate with it, it can be a little slow. So, but that's your server. That's done. That's everything done in terms of setting up your server. So it's actually really easy if you've never done this before. And I mean, you could do this. It doesn't need to just be Automobilista 2. You could do this with other games like Assetto Corsa Competizione or whatever, Counter-Strike. I don't know. But this now will obviously, now we're going to get more into the nitty gritty of how to set up our Automobilista server. So the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting up what is called Steam CMD. Now, unfortunately, I have to use Internet Explorer here. Yes, so can be a little bit of a pain. don't muck about too much and try not to do too much on this server. You don't want to make it insecure. Let's just say that. So you're going to get this, right? So this is the web server just saying nothing can come in. So what I would, if I was you, I would probably leave that checked. I'm not going to. You don't have to, but maybe just do it just to be safe. But we want to add it to the zone. So just click add. There we go, close, and now you'll be able to get there. Gonna get rid of that again. Geez, I don't care about that. That's fine. We just need to get into Chrome. So you just want to Google Steam CMD. I can put a link down below, but that's not going to do much use for you if you're in the server. So there we go. The first link there should be it. Okay, so it brings you to this big old website with how it all works and everything like that. You don't need to get too worked up about all this. It seems like more than it is. You only need to do one thing really here. So we're going to click on this one here. So download Steam CMD for Windows. It's just going to download a zip. We're going to have to add this. So go add, once again, close. And then that should download with a bit of luck. What's it doing? Might have to click it there. Okay, we had to click it again. That's right. So we'll go save. Cool. All right, so I want to open the folder. I just want to see where this zip file is, but I pretty much want to put this in my C. So I'm just going to copy that, and then we're going to go to this PC, to the C drive. So I just want to install it in what we call the root folder. Save your funny jokes for later. So let's go, and then so right click on Steam CMD, and then just go extract all. Extract. There we go. So now we have Steam CMD. Now the next thing we need to do is a little bit more convoluted. So it's going to, basically the first time you run this, it's just going to download updates and things like that. But this is a command line program. If you haven't gathered, CMD is short for command. So we're going to be typing in the commands. Now there's only one command we have to do. So it's actually, well, two. We want to log in and then we want to install the server package. So to log in, I think it's just log in. Sorry. Yeah, log in anonymous. So you want this line here. You can just type that though if you want. So this lets you into Steam, but you don't have to have an account or anything like that, which is useful here. I don't want my account on this server, so I'd highly recommend you don't sign into your actual account here, so don't do that. Now what we want to do, I have to go back. I've already got this saved because it's a bit of a convoluted thing we have to do here, but where is that? So what we're going to do is, so I'll try and explain this, but it's not really important. Update, that's just going to, it downloads something basically. Now this number here, 1338040, that's the what Steam identifies the Automobilista 2 server software as. So like everything has a number, Counter-Strike, whatever, like it all has this number. This is the number for the AMS2 server software. And validate's just going to basically check that everything's sweet. So yeah, so I'll put this command down below. But yeah, app_update, the ID 1338040, validate. Pretty straightforward. So I don't think I'm going to be able to copy that in. Let's have a look. Oh, I can. There you go. Okay, so you can, yeah. I don't think you can copy from here back. Anyway, all right, so just copy that from the video description, hit enter, and away it will go. So this might just take a little bit. There we go. It didn't take that long. Okay. Now, in theory, that should have downloaded that to C. It didn't. Where did it download? Okay, we're going to have to do one other thing. Okay, let's restart. Because I don't know where that downloaded. Okay. So what we want to do is we're going to have to force it to install to the C drive. So we'll find where that command is. It's here. Down here, force install directory. Okay. So we can just copy this. We're not going to, obviously we're not installing CSGO. You don't want to be logged in, I believe. It's going to give us an error. So let's just call this something like AMS2 server. Bingo. All right, now we'll log back in as anonymous. And then we type that command. Whoops, sorry. To go back and get the app update. Or I can probably just see it above here. Where is it? The app. So app underscore update 1338040. Whoops. 40 validate. All right, now in theory that should put it where I want it. I hope so. Let's have a look. C drive. It's AMS2 server. There we go. Okay, that got it. All right, so sorry about that. So yeah, firstly do that. First do the force install dir and C AMS2 server, or you can call it whatever you want, but I'm just calling it that. Then log back in anonymous. Then run update app update. And that's it. So we're done now with the Steam CMD. We can log out, and I assume if I type quit, that will quit it. Yep, there we go. Cool. All right, so now you have your AMS2 server software installed. So we're pretty much there, sort of. Now, this is where it gets a bit fun. Okay, so the first thing we need to do. What we're going to do instead, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to go into config sample, and we're going to go this one here, server rotate events.cfg. So we're going to copy that and then hit back, just go back to this root folder for AMS2 server and hit Control V. And then we're just going to rename that just to server.cfg. Oops. Just like that. Okay. So basically this file, when we run, this here is the server. When we click that, it's not really a server, it's a batch file or something like that. But you run that, it's going to read this server CFG file here. So what we put into this determines what happens here. So now that we've got that there, we might actually go back one step. So what I failed to do earlier, although it's never too late to do this, is we need to create some security rules so that certain ports are open. So what we need to do is click on this instance, and we want to scroll down to security groups. Now, obviously we did the first one here, and that's this one here we want. We did set up that first one, inbound rules. So yeah, click on inbound rules once you're in here. And so obviously before we set up that one, this RDP, so that's for the remote desktop. Now we need to enter a whole bunch more. We need to enter 8 of them. So this is a little monotonous, but it's pretty straightforward. So I've already got these saved. Let me just bring them up. Okay, so we're going to create 4 of them for TCP and 4 of them for UDP. You know, you don't need to understand what any of that is, but these are the numbers we're going to use. Okay, so we'll set up our first 2. So what you want to do is go add rule, and then yeah, custom TCP is already selected. So the first one's 4380. So put that there. And then what you want to do is just click here and hit that. And then you don't have to put a description, but it's probably useful. So just type, what I would just put is AMS2 ports, something like that. Now we can do multiple ones at once. You could hit save rules and do it over and over again, but that's pointless. So we want to go add rule again, and now we need to do this for UDP. So you go custom UDP, and we do it for 4380 again. Exact same thing, and AMS2 ports. So that's 4380 done. Now the next one we have is 8766. So yep, that's fine. That 000 AMS2 ports. Now I'll put all these ports in the description as well. Guess you can tell what's next. Custom UDP 8766 0000 AMS2 ports. Add rule. So what was our next one? So 27015 and 27016. So these are pretty easy to remember. It's just the next one's a little bit higher. AMS2 ports. Whoops. UDP. Now this is very important. If you don't do this, no one will be seeing your server. AMS2 ports. And then just one more. Well, two more, but 16 000 AMS2 ports. Some of them AMS2 ports. I think one's Steam. I forget what the other one is. The other one I stumbled upon to get everything working, but there you go. All right, so you want this. You need this. This is what you want. Again, I'll put these port numbers down, but make sure yours looks like this. Your IP address will be different. That's mine. I'll probably, in fact, block that out, but I'm not too worried about y'all. So yeah, we'll hit save rules now. Oops. Oh, I forgot to. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now we have all our security rules. So we could have done that when we were setting it up, when we did the initial remote desktop port, but I forgot to. So anyway, all right. So that's the server all pretty much configured. So we can go back into our Windows instance and back into. We can in fact close that now. Okay. We can close that and go into here. All right, so now we just before we created our server.cfg. So I'm going to open this up. Now what you want to do is right click on it and go open with. And it's going to say, oh, we can't open this. Well, I'll show you a secret. Notepad will open it. Now, Notepad is the single greatest application ever made. Now, this all might seem a bit overwhelming, and it kind of is. But this is where, not all, but a lot of our settings are for the server. So there's a bit going on here, but the more you play with it, the more it makes sense. But we're going to walk through it, and it's going to be all fine. Don't worry. So straight off the bat, like if you see a couple of forward slashes, that means that's a comment. So none of this gets read when we run our server. So these bits, basically, if you see these bits, they're going to be useful things. So you can use dummy entries like these to write comments into the, etc. So basically, the first thing I guess everyone wants, wants to change the name of the server. So we want to come down to here. So name. So the server's name, this will appear in the server browser, blah, 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 blah. So at the moment, it's called unconfigured local testing server. So what we'll call ours wonderful automotive bliss. That'll do. You can call it whatever you want, and in fact, I tell you, you can't call it that. That's now my name. Nah, kidding. So all right, so that's where you set your name. Wow, we're off to a great start. Look at that. Authenticate users, I would just leave that. Now, next one's kind of handy. I would definitely recommend setting a password here. So at the moment, there's no password. If you don't want a password, you just leave it blank like that. Make sure there's still the comment characters there. But for now, we'll just put a password of test because I'm not too worried about this server. Now, max player count. I mean, that depends on what you think your server's capable of. Here, I would reckon maybe just 20. Don't need to worry about that. You can see these. So these ports that we were just entering, there they are. So we could change them, I suppose, but we're not going to do that. Otherwise, that's about it for there. So then we want to scroll down a bit. It's all going to seem a bit chaotic to start with, but you get used to this. So all of this HTTPI stuff we'll come back to later. But for now, we want to go down to here. So LUA API configuration. Actually, sorry, no, we want to keep going. That will come to later. We'll do that in the next video. That's getting a bit deeper. So we want to go to game setup control options. All right. So where should we begin here? Probably not a bad one. Let's start with here. Okay, so this line here. The host player can control track selection if set to 0. Set to 1 to disable track selection in-game. So that should make sense. So at the moment it's set to 1. So within this file, we can say this is the track. The server has determined this is the track you're doing, I don't know, Laguna Seca over and over again. If you set that to 0, the first person that joins the server then is able to change the settings of the server. So you might want to do that, I don't know, but I think a lot of people probably don't want to do that if they're having a league race or something like that. They probably want it determined. So we'll leave that as 1. Now, the next one here, the host player can change the vehicle class. So it's the same thing. So that at the moment, the server is controlling that. 1 means server, 0 means host. That's a bad way of looking at it, but for now, that'll do. So server controls vehicle class. Players can change their vehicle if set to 0 again. So vehicle class is a bit different from vehicle. Vehicle class, obviously, that's you could have 5 of a, I don't know, GT3 series or something like that. But then you could say only the, I don't know, the McLaren can be used or something like that if this is set to 1. So you probably want that at 0. But for now, we'll set it at 1. We'll get more into that. We'll just leave that. But I just kind of want to go over a few of these things. Grid size, max players. So you want to make sure these match. But I would make, I don't know, if you want 30, you can. But I make them 20. So we're starting to get into more fun stuff here. So then we've got here the practice length, qualifying length, race length. So practice and the qualifying lengths, they're both set in minutes. And then the race length, that's set in laps. So that's 10 laps. So for now, we'll just leave that, but you can set that to whatever you want. For instance, like I was saying at the start, I just wanted 24 hours of practice on the Nordschleife. So you would change those two to 0, and then this becomes, excuse me, and then this becomes 1440. So that's 24 hours expressed as minutes. But anyway, we'll leave all that for now. Now, this is where it gets a little more creative, the race flags. So, this is a whole thing. Excuse me. Okay, so basically all these sort of settings that obviously when you use set up a multiplayer lobby in the game, you have all these options. So allow vehicle setup, ABS allowed, safety, what is that? How do I not know what SC is? That's got to be, it's not traction control. Oh, who cares? Anyway, all these things. This is where you determine it. Now, the way they do this is a bit different. So each of these is allocated a number. So allow custom vehicle setup is 8, ABS allowed is 32, SC allowed is 64, TCS is 128. You can sort of see where this is going. And then so if you want them on, you have to add this number. So basically all these are on. So these are all going to happen. And all these numbers added up come to this, right? So flags, you need to, if you want all these on, you set to 656106. It's simply all these numbers added up. Now, there's more of these options. I will show you them later. I might show you at the end of this video once we get the server running. But there are a few more. I think there's maybe 10, 15 of them. So this number could be bigger, smaller. You can't just enter any number. It needs to be, be able to add up to sort of what these predetermined values are. So it's a little weird, a little bit different. I guess as an example, we could, if we bring up our calculator quickly. I'm so sorry, this does take a little while on this server. There we go, just to load a calculator. So say we, I don't know. Okay, there's a good one. Fill session with AI. In fact, let's change one right off the bat because we don't want fill session with AI. Well, I don't anyway. So if you don't want to fill the session with AI, we want to go 656106, and then we want to take away. My minus button will work. There we go. Then we want to take away 131,072, and that gives us 525034. So what we do then is just go here and type 525034. And so now it will not fill the session with AI. So that's probably one you want straight off the bat, I think. But yeah, play around with them. You'll sort of see how they work, mix and match. As I finish this off with the second video, hopefully you'll just be power masters at this. So power users at this. So. But that's flags. Very brief introduction. There's not much more to add to flags really, but that's the general gist of flags. So we might as well keep going. It's probably starting to become a bit more, self-evident now. So opponent difficulty, damage type, things like that. We might have to look more into what the different values would be for that. Apparently 8 is no tire wear. So again, there are some little bits of the API I haven't looked at yet, but I will get my head around them eventually. Probably then only other real interesting things. So we got here track ID. Now the track IDs are all these digits, these real long digits. So this is apparently the one for Interlagos. I will get there with this, but basically if we want to see all of them, we're going to have to visit this API/list/tracks. And then that's going to give us all of their codes. So the tracks work the same, the vehicle class IDs are the same, and the actual vehicle models. So the vehicle class is stock car Brazil, and then this is saying to use the stock car Chevy Cruze. So the Holden Cruze, what a great car. Anyway, and then race date hour, so that's the starting date. So pretty much that's all you really need to know for now about this one. There is one other thing we want to get rid of. Because this is set up, so this is set up to rotate, which we will get into. I just need to find where that is. Here we go. Automatic race setup rotation. All right, so for now, we're just going to comment this out because we're just going to have a pure, let's just say the hypothetical is you're doing a league race once a week. So let's just comment that out and hit Control S. So obviously you want to hit Control S anytime you change anything to here, otherwise the server won't know about it. So, but that's the server config. It looks scary, but it's not really. And worst case scenario, you can always go into config sample and just copy these ones and put them back in if you stuff up anything monumentally. In theory, everything should be good to go. So what we want to do now is just double click on dedicated server CMD. It's going to fire up good old console. And that all looks pretty good. I'm not seeing any errors like I did the first time I did this, so that's good. Now to test if this is working, what we can do is go into Internet Explorer, which I don't really recommend anyone ever do, but anyway. And you want to type localhost :9000. Okay, why didn't that work? Hold on. Okay, so we do want to do one last thing, and that's within the HTTP API configuration. We don't really need to do this, but it's just handy. Now what we want to do is enable that. So enable HTTP API, we'll say true. And then I think we'll want to create an account. So to do that, we go down. Okay, so what we'll do is here in user list, we're just going to say test and test. You probably wouldn't do this, but anyway. And then we need to create private test and admin. Test. Okay, and that should do it. I don't even think we need to really worry about this, but let's just do it this way. Okay, so hit Control S, and now in theory, we'll go dedicated server CMD. Cool, that's running. And then try that. There we go. Okay. So then once we've entered those last things we did, we can either type 127.0.0.1 colon 9000, or you can just type localhost colon 9000. That will bring this up. So your username's test, password's test. Hit OK. And boom, there we go. So that shows that it looks like it's working. We will log into Automobilista 2 just to make sure, but as it stands, it looks like it's working. So we might go have a look there. I really don't think we had to change those usernames. I think we could have left it, but it's good practice to always have usernames there. In fact, if this is where you're going to leave it, set those to something secure, something actually decent. Okay, so I think I forgot one thing. Now, I think there's a bit of an issue. So we want to go back into localhost 9000, right? And what we want to do is go into session attributes on the left. Now, basically at the moment, for some reason, it's just not going to publicly appear until we do this. So there's current and next session up here. Click on next session. Just change something. Like, let's just make this to, I don't know, Kensai, I don't know. And to, well, it doesn't really matter. You can just probably change one thing, but let's just change a couple of things there. Go save next session. Okay, now attribute changes submitted to server. Okay, I think I forgot to do one very, very important thing. We forgot to add an exception in the Windows firewall. So what we need to do is go into your virtual machine, type in just, or you can just type firewall. There we go. So we want to go Windows Defender Firewall, and then allow app or feature through Windows Defender, and click allow another app. And then you want to hit browse, go to C, and we want to go to, not to Steam, to AMS2 server, and just select that, hit open, click add, and in theory, that should get us going. So now we'll try running that again. We may still have to do the weird telling it its first state thing, but let's have a quick look. So if that got it, then I'll be happy. I think I forgot the most basic of things that we were meant to do here. Let's have a look. There we go. That's what we forgot to do, everyone. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. But still do what I did earlier. Just to show you too that it does run with the password. Can continue. Oh, invalid what? Was it with a capital T? Can't remember. Let's have a look. Oh, I probably just killed it. No, I didn't. Cool. What do we set that password to? It's a capital T. Okay, silly mistake to make. I'm full of them today. So wonderful automotive bliss. TEST. Continue. That should get us in there. There we go. Okay. And where is it? Interlagos, so it's the default. And so I was saying earlier, so we've got all these different numbers and things like that for the vehicle ID. So you can see in the comments here, it says like C/slash API slash list slash tracks to get sort of the API. So if we copy this, right, and then go back to our local host here, and then yeah, just add that to the end after the 9,000, hit enter. On Chrome, it might come up with it, but basically it's just going to ask us to open this file. It's a JSON file, and we can use Notepad to view that. There we have it. So this will tell you what these IDs are. Like, so if you want to add Adelaide historic, you want to punch this number in to our server config here, for instance. You know, Bathurst, that number there, etc., etc. So a little bit laborious to go through all this, but you could look at it in Chrome potentially if you've got a JSON add-on and things like that, but you just sort of have to have a scroll through, and no one said having a server is easy, let's just say that. So yeah, if you're wondering how, you know, if you want to change your tracks, you would do that. So let's have a look here. So say the car, so we can type this one here, API list slash vehicles. Go back in, just add that at the end, hit enter, go open it with Notepad, and there's your cars. So again, you would just copy this number in, and then that's the car that the server's going to start with. So otherwise for now, that's about it. Like I said, just to get this running, you're gonna, so you can see it, you are going to have to disable the LUA again. Where was that? Up here. So you'll just have to go back to false, type that in, hit S, Control S rather, and then it should appear on the public display of servers. So yeah, that's about it. I totally stuffed up on the firewall part there, but we got there in the end. So I would probably add that at step 1. Yeah, I'll try and edit this a bit creatively, but I'd say it's going to come out the way it's been recorded. So yeah, definitely. Hopefully you've watched the whole video first. I probably shouldn't be saying that at the end. I could add this at the start, I suppose. Watch the whole video until the end. Just because there are little things, we jump around a little bit, but the Windows Defender thing, that, yeah, I totally forgot about that. Just such a simple thing. It's always like that, just simple things that just drive you around the twist. So yeah, that's the first part done. The next part, we will get into more advanced server configurations, but I think from there you can do quite a bit. There'll be static servers. You're not going to be able to change anything or anything like that. But like I said, if you're having a weekly race and you just want to set up your private server on a web server, this is how you do it, basically. Like I said in the video, you don't have to use AWS if you're more familiar with Azure or a different web service provider. Use them. Same things, just set up the virtual machine. I think you can actually use this software on Unix or Unix-based systems, but I'm not really running any at the moment, so I haven't explored it. So I just went down the Windows route, but I could look into that in the future. But yeah, we'll leave it there. As I said, there'll be a second video detailing way more advanced sort of options, the track rotations and things like that. And yeah, and then you can do whatever you want, I suppose, then. But yeah, I'll leave it there. I am a smoke machine. If you want to see more of me, I stream on Twitch. I'll link that below. I can't believe I'm doing these ones, but go check it out. If you check me out if you want to see me driving badly. Any feedback or suggestions about the video, I most definitely welcome it. Yeah, any tips or anything that you can provide, let me know. If you need any help, let me know in the comments as well. But yeah, until the next video, have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.